So I would like to hear from the clerk as to the cost of holding an election on a date other than November 4th.
The cost for the election to be held will be approximately $5,000 to $6,000, no matter what day it's on. I'm going to have staff, no matter whether it's on, the 30th, the 4th, the 28th, whatever day. So that isn't.
You already, though, have staff for November 4th, or would you have to have additional staff?
I would have to have additional staff. I would have to train new staff. And also,
because the ballot has to be separate, is that it?
Yes, it's totally separate ballot.
Councilor Rugo.
That's interesting, Madam Clerk. In fact, if we had it on the 4th, it would be a more burden than on your office because you'd have to train workers that otherwise would be available on another day and not need to be trained.
That is true. No matter what day it's on, though, I'm going to be very careful with the staff. If it's on another day, I'm going to make sure that anyone who works that polling place is not from that precinct. And in fact, I've queried wardens from other precincts to see if they would come in. I don't want anything to be considered to be an ethical or a conflict of interest question.
Thank you. And a follow-up to legal, my initial question was, in light of the expense of the $5,000 to $6,000, what would occur today if a majority of this board present tonight voted against this?
Good evening, all. Under the charter in the section that was cited by Councilor Crocker, 8-8C, the setting of the election is essentially a ministerial act. There's really no discretion involved. So I would caution against that. Thank you.
Do we have any other discussion? Councilor Crocker.
Just for a point of clarification, could we have the attorney back again? I would like confirmation that we are on this particular date in between the 45th and the 60th day as researched by your office.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Curtis.
Just to be clear, given it's Thursday, and I understand my colleague's reasoning for choosing a Thursday, does that, and this is directed through you, Vice President, to the clerk, does that present any problems that it's not a traditional voting day?
It doesn't present any problems to me. However, when I did ask the church, and they are a brand new user as far as we are concerned, they're very kind to allow us to use the facility, and they have no problem on Tuesday, but they said Thursday it is an extraordinarily busy day at the church, and they really wished it would not be on that day. But that is, that is what she said.
I get a point of clarification through you, but the room that you hold it in is available, am I correct?
She was not sure because there are so many activities going on at that day that sometimes they spill over into the gymnasium.
Gee, that seems to be different than you told me earlier. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Councilor Canedy.
So I take it from legal that we either accept this or not. And if we don't accept it, we're pretty much saying that we're not allowing the recall. So you can, I thought the implication was that you cannot amend as to date.
I don't really understand the question. Can you repeat that, please?
Well,
Sorry.
that happens a lot. The question is, I have a problem with the date. I'd even be happier if it was on the Tuesday that the clerk suggested. The Thursday with the church crowded and it's an unusual day to have an election is problematic to me. So if I was to amend it to November 4th or if I was to amend it to October 28th, that would be okay? If the amendment passed?
I know, I'm sorry I didn't understand, but now I do. The window, the 45 to 60-day window is October 20th to November 4th.
Okay, then I make a suggested amendment to October 28th. Does that help you, Madam Clerk?
Before we move on that motion, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just wondered, how's this funded? We're in a fiscal crisis here. What if we didn't have the money?
Oh, the lights go out.
We can't afford it.
You just turn off the lights. That's how you do that.
We can save money by dimming the lights at council meetings, yeah. All right, we have a motion to amend, and we have a second. Can we have a vote on that motion? All in favor of the motion to the amendment to October the 28th? All in favor? All opposed? And again in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor and 4 opposed. And Councilor Monifo, did you vote? You want to try again?
Let's try it again.
Okay. All in favor of the motion to move the recall vote to October the 28th? All in favor, please. We have 5. And all opposed? We have 5 opposed. Councilor Rugo has moved to reconsider. He thinks this is fun here.
Second.
All those in favor of the vote on October the 28th?
Pardon me, did you vote in favor? You didn't vote in favor, so he can't do the charter object. I mean, point of object.
No. We still have the original motion on the table. That was an amendment. So if I may, do we have a motion with regard to the date of October the 30th? Still on the floor. So do we have a motion to move the question? So can we have a vote on whether to hold a recall election on October the 30th? All in favor? He did. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. You want to vote to move the question? All in favor of moving the question? So moved. Now, all in favor of a recall election on October the 30th? I believe that's 6. All opposed? 4 opposed.
May I respectfully ask you a question? If the church cannot have it on that day, what is going to happen here? I tried to suggest to you that they did not want it on that day, and somehow
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Rugo? The vote has been taken, and I think the matter is closed.
We will happily address, we'll speak to you and see what we can do.
Point of information, I think the clerk raises a very good point, and it therefore would behoove us to take a secondary vote in the event that the 30th is not available, so that this election can be held as the town attorney says it needs to be.
Point of information, sir, Mr. President. This matter is closed.
I believe that. Go ahead, Councilor Curtis.
I'm not really sure, in all honesty, and I'm addressing my colleagues through you, Mr. Vice President. I have, in all honesty, spoken to the town clerk one-to-one and asked her, because she is the person who's going to run this election. She knows much better than any of us what the capacity of any polling
Point of
place.
information, Mr. Chairman. Is this matter on the floor or is it closed? Is there a motion? I don't understand the process here. I believe that there's a set of rules that we need to follow. There's been a vote. It's been taken. It was voted on affirmatively, and now there's a discussion, and I'm at a loss of how this is occurring.
Mr. Vice President Chirigotis, I move to reconsider the motion that has been before us.
Madam.
Mr. Monaco?
Mr. Chirigotis, she had to vote in the affirmative.
That's correct.
It has to be somebody voted in the affirmative. The councilors, right?
Thank you. The vote's been closed. Let's move on.
I voted in the affirmative, and I would request a reconsideration.
We have a request for reconsideration.
And that needs to be seconded by another person who voted in the affirmative, who was on the prevailing side, I should say.
Do we have a second? Having no second, the vote has been closed. If we could move on, please. I believe we're going to take a moment's recess while the planning board joins us.